Thank you for joining me today, Ruth. I am so excited to have you here. You're my first esthetician guest on this special edition of this collaborative support for skincare. So it's estheticians supporting skincare with the Love My Skin edition. So as many of us are at home and trying to figure out what we can do, especially as our skin is getting a little more dull or dry or uneven or whatever's going on, I wanted to put together this series of just tips and advice from your local esthetician. So Ruth, I'm so excited to have you here because honestly, you're the one who got me started on a lot of these products and the tools and the microderm and all that. And I remember sitting in your apartment in the living room on the floor as you were expressing and explaining the lines like we're going to dive in deep into. So here's Ruth from All About Skin, owner of All About Skin. So if you want to introduce yourself, Ruth, and tell us a little bit about who you are, your practice, anything that comes to mind.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. And thank you for letting me be involved with this today. This is awesome. I think it's a very important time for estheticians to get together to have the meeting of the minds. Anyway, my name is Ruth Roback. I am owner and esthetician of All About Skin. I've been practicing aesthetics for over 20 years. I just say 20 plus because,
Right.
I'm only 40.
Right.
And I have a brick and mortar in Far Hills, New Jersey. And I have been in the spa industry for about 10 years. And then I went into the medical industry for about another 10 and on my own for the last 4 or 5 years. And it's been an amazing run. I love skincare, as you well know. And I really love talking to my fellow estheticians and really have a meeting of the minds in things that we can do to better improve our businesses and help our clients, especially at this time during the pandemic.
Yeah, I have to say, yes, I definitely feel that to be true. And I know we've only briefly met about 10 years ago. Right. And the support, you were one of the first ones as I got my skincare license and was very confused as to which route I wanted to focus on, because in the skincare world, there's a lot you can do. So I just remember the kind of support. I felt very held and just very supported in that moment. So I'm excited to have you come and share to your audience, to perhaps your clients are listening. I know my clients are going to be listening in, and anyone else who, even if you've never had a facial before, you can, get a behind the scenes look as to what we do and why it's important and all of that. And there was something that was coming up for me with you specifically. I'll get back to it later. So as an esthetician, you mentioned you were transitioning into this medical space. What do you focus on with your skincare? What would you say you specialize in?
So I think more along the lines of medical. That's kind of where my thinking goes. So when I meet with a client particularly, and especially now I'm doing complimentary consultations, especially at this time, right. I really want to delve into their medical history. Their lifestyle is very important. And with all of that said, the combination and of course the products that we're using at home. So with all of that, we come up with a nice plan that we can do together. If they are comfortable with their products, you and I both know sometimes it's important for them to take time to realize that why they would need to transition into something different if they've been using something for 20 some odd years. So anyway, and we understand that people are attached to certain items, but I did a segment yesterday and held up a bar of soap. I said, please don't use this.
That's what I wanted to say. That's what I want to say to you, because I really admire the small videos, the short, brief videos that you're posting. And I know that that's not something that you're used to doing. We're all trying to find these new ways to connect. And this is the reality of it. But I love it because people don't know those things. And even myself, so I've been doing skincare for 9+ years now as an esthetician, but beforehand, I'm in my mid-30s, but even into my early 20s, I really didn't do anything for my skin. I didn't wear makeup or anything like that. I mean, I still really don't. But even as far as cleansers, I had no idea. It's Body Bar, like you said. So these things are really good reminders and really good support to know what is better for your skin. And the reality is, as we age, even 20s into 30s into 40s and all of that, not just when you're old, but we're constantly in this state of aging right now. Your skin's ability to do its thing, what it's designed to do, will slow down. And part of doing its thing is shedding those dead skin cells. So that's, you know, to give someone a starting point for those listening who are not used to doing any skincare. Maybe you're like me, who are like, I use that Dove bar or whatever that was.
Sure.
And it does, why does it matter? Just a starting point. Let's talk about simple, effective skincare, especially right now for people who are at home who are curious and want to know what they can do. So I know you have, we're going to talk a little bit about our favorites. I know you have a favorite cleanser that you use.
Yeah.
Can you share it with us and let us know why, what you love about it and all that good stuff?
Sure. So I was an Ivory girl back in the day. So, and then went on to using other products like Pond's cream and a variety of other things,
Yeah.
which is horrifying when you think about it, but we don't know better. So that's why we need experts such as yourself and me to help us, you know, guide us along the way. I did a segment, just a video last week, and the response to it was, you know, because I asked people, what is your concern during this time period, during this pandemic? And they said the biggest concern is my dry skin. So, so my suggestion was that instead of using soap, that perhaps we use a cleanser. Now, this cleanser is amazing. It's a glycerin base. It's Skin Recovery Science is the name of the brand, LRS, and it is waterless. So when you put it on, it glides on like butter and rinses off. it
does.
Nice and clean. So,
Yeah.
and I'm telling you, this 8-ounce bottle lasts about 4 to 6 months. I use about a half a pump each time. And, you know, the price point is great. It's like $47. And I say to people, you know, 4 to 6 months, especially during this time period, if we're all still on a budget, this is doable, you know?
Yeah, yeah, yes. So many good things about SRS. I use one similar in consistency to that. And I know with the SRS, that Anhydrous cleanser specifically, I've had clients, this is great for, and you can add to this as well, what you found, but my clients who've had that cystic acne, the rosacea acne, who you know, you really want to get that clean feeling, but because everything going on, or even if you have really oily skin, I know from experience, you know, of using that in the beginning when my skin was a little bit more it was like combination. It was either too oily, too dry. That really helped to stabilize all of that. So with your experience with that, like, who do you recommend? Is this like a universal cleanser, or who do you specifically recommend and why?
You know, it's interesting you ask, because I actually use it on my back bar or for my facials in my studio. So I use it on everybody. And I would have to say, for my rosacea clients, for people who have acne, it's wonderful. Yeah. And the only reason why I steer people away from soap, just as a quick thought, is that soap has lye in it. Lye dries the skin. So if I start the day off with dry skin, the rest of the day is going to get oily if I have combination skin because I didn't nourish it.
Right.
So that's why this is so amazing, because it really gives us the nourishment right from the get-go. And that's what I'm looking for. And I'm happy that when my acne clients come back to me and say, this is great, that's a beautiful testimony.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And I mean, I think the key to having that more hydrated skin is finding the balance. And that's why it's important to know what is it, what products you're using, what's in it, and what it's doing. Like you're talking about the soap. I didn't know that back then, you know, now I do, but you know, I take that for granted sometimes, knowing that, because people starting off, most people don't understand that, you know, even the way they advertise Dove soap, it's like, it's safe for your skin, but you don't realize what's in it and what it's actually doing. And if you are someone who has oily skin or combination skin and you're using that, like you said, you could be drying out your skin, and now your skin's, again, natural ability to heal is trying to balance and compensate. And that's why it's that never ending looping cycle. So for me, I love that Anhydrous cleanser as well. And I know in a later segment, we're going to be talking about treatment serums, but I love that whole SRS line with the hydration, LRS, and also the C2S, vitamin C. I know I'm throwing out a lot of weird names, but check back for that, because if you are someone who wants brighter skin and has the cystic acne, those are amazing serums.
Absolutely.
For the cleanser, I have my professional size back here, but I use the Clear Choice brand, and I love their gentle foaming cleanser. I've worked with both. This is the one that I do use on myself when I need a cleanser, and at the spa with all of my treatments. And I do offer those deeper facials like the microneedling, the dermaplane, and I work a lot with very, very sensitive skin, and that may be because that's the kind of skin I have. But I love this because it also has that consistency of the anhydrous cleanser is like a gel almost, but if you've ever had like aloe vera also,
Yes.
like put that on your, like it's like a mixture of all of that. But I love all the ingredients in here. They are also organic. This one has the organic aloe vera gel in it. But
Right.
I love this one because notice that, not that you want to get it in your eyes, but if you do have any face makeup on, that is really powerful but gentle enough to completely cleanse your skin without drying it.
Yeah.
And it similar after feel like the anhydrous cleanser, like that squeaky clean.
Right.
It's great for the normal skin too. The anhydrous cleanser, what I noticed with that is it also leaves your skin smooth after, where this one just leaves it like really like the good tight feeling, like it's, it's not too dry but it's not oily, and you actually feel you got all the makeup off. So I
Right.
don't know
And
if you have anything
and I think people have it's sort of a misnomer out there. They think that if their face is tight, it means it's clean. When in all
right.
reality, you and I both learned through our aesthetic background here and education that just means that you've dried out the skin. So
Right.
if you don't nourish this largest organ,
Yeah,
it'll
exactly.
it'll dry up.
It'll dry up, and then you're gonna keep loading your skin up with moisturizers that may not actually be moisturizing, and it's that, again, that vicious cycle. So now that we've prepped and cleaned the skin, for those who are interested in these products, I will have the contact info. I know Ruth is working with her product lines to be able to drop ship to you guys, so we'll have all that contact info, and like you mentioned, you have a free consult going on and
Yes.
all that good stuff. So now that we've prepped the skin and now it's nice and clean for at home, for the dull skin, for the dehydrated skin, for the unevenness, what is your favorite go-to product to help with that deeper exfoliation?
Well, we talked about, and I think this is also a product that you may carry too, the Expurtise. It's effective anti-aging enzyme peel. So what is an enzyme peel? An enzyme is something, well, I'll give you an example. So this has bromelain in it. So bromelain is found in your pineapple. Now, in the world of people who can eat pineapple, the bromelain helps break down the food and so on in the body and absorption. On the skin, it breaks down that dry, dead skin. So this is a product that you leave on. You put it on with a light coat and leave it on for 5 to 10 minutes. And you could do this once or twice a week. And this also is a botanical product using the aloe in it as well. So it resurfaces, smooth, protects, and also stimulates because it has a little glycolic and lactic acid, which also assists in breaking down that dry, dead skin. So for what purpose is that? When I get off that dry skin, product absorption is wonderful. Otherwise, it's just like putting hand cream on dry hands is the best way to describe it, right? We continue to put it on and say, how come it's not working? Well, if we exfoliate our hands and then put on the cream, we'll see a different story. So no different than the face. And yet we have to be kinder for the face. So eliminating things like apricot scrub, things that would be a little harsh.
Paint Ives that we grew up with, along with the ponds. I know I used to scrub that everywhere. Yes.
Can be used on the arms and hands.
But you're right. You're right. The skin, especially on your face, is more sensitive, and I like how you brought this up because there are two kinds of exfoliation that I like to help my clients understand, anyone listening. There's the chemical and there's the mechanical.
Right.
They're both beneficial, and it's just knowing your skin. Chemical exfoliation does include those acids, those fruit acids, the fruit enzymes, like a lot of the the fruit enzymes that are used in the skincare product world come from papain and bromelain, so the papaya and the pineapple, right? And those fruit acids, those are the botanical chemical exfoliants that are great for the sensitive skin. You may turn a little red or pink when you put it on, and you know, some of the stronger chemical exfoliators, if you will, are the glycolics and the lactic acids and anything with the acid in it. And the reason why it's chemical, because it literally, the acids are interacting with your own chemistry on your skin. And so it's a chemical exfoliant because you leave it on your skin, like Ruth brought up. So any enzyme that doesn't have the grittiness on there, that is a chemical exfoliator, you will leave it on your skin like a mask. You generally leave it on for 5 to 7 minutes. Do you have any tips for someone who does want to use that at home, like when they should do it, how often, and how long they should leave it on and all of that?
Yeah, so I did a demonstration of that as well the other day. So my skin was looking a little dull, and I put this on, just let it kind of walk around the house 5-10 minutes
Right.
later, and just rinsed it off with tepid water. First, I cleansed the skin, so it's good to cleanse and get, you know, prep the
Right.
skin and then use that. And I might
Right.
add that, and of course, I never realized this until the education came through, that when you're a baby till about 30 years old, our skin turns over roughly 30 days. Now, what does that mean? It just sloths off and we look good, we look great. From about 30 forward is when we start the aging process, and then our skin may take a duller, it turns over less. So if we're out 45 days, our skin might take a little, you know, turn into looking dull. So that's why we need assistance as we age. So
Right.
things, products like this are very important
Right.
for any of
Right.
us.
I agree. I agree. Yes. And you know, I find myself, the way I like to think about it is just to generalize it, like even in their 20s, it starts to slow down a little bit. There's a lot of factors in it, but it's the
Absolutely.
aging process, right? So every decade, if you will, if your skin's ability to shed and slough away those dead skin cells without you doing anything, just water, if
Yes.
that slows down by a week every decade, let's say, or even 2 weeks, if you do nothing, you know, so in your 20s, that's why you can get away with not doing so much.
Right.
And then, you know, your skin still looks bright, but then as you enter into your 30s, like Ruth is saying, 40s, 50s, and so on, it continues to slow down even more. So the assistance is very helpful. And the two kinds of exfoliants that you'll receive in spa are a little bit, you know, we layer those treatments up, but for at home, you could do the enzyme treatment.
That's right.
You can also do the mechanical exfoliation, which I'm a big fan of because I do have those sensitive, I have very sensitive skin, or I used to, at least. Now it's more normal, but I will immediately react to things. So, and I tend to work with people who have a lot of allergies and more sensitivities, which was a challenge in the beginning, but a really good challenge because I learned a really good alternative that's now become my primary go-to. In someone's initial treatment care. So I do love the pumpkin scrub, and just like the Expurtise, it has that papain
Yeah.
fruit acids in it. It has so mechanical. The difference between that is you literally are mechanically rubbing and sloughing it off of your skin. So unlike the enzymes where you let them lay on your skin and they eat away, the acids eat away those dead skin cells and all the stuff, the glue that's holding them together on your face. You wipe it off and it's nice and smooth.
Right.
The pumpkin scrub is going to do something very similar. It's just the mechanical motion of it.
Right.
This one I love too because it is an enzymatic mechanical scrub, so it does have the fruit enzymes in it. They're not as strong as the Expurtise, so if you want something to just lay on your face and like walk around the house and let it sit, go for that. For
Yeah.
me, I love to actually prep my skin by doing this in the shower. It's my lazy, simple step because, again, being someone who never did skincare and then starting off doing skincare in the beginning, I was like, I don't want to do 1,000 steps. I just want to do what's the like simplest thing I could do to have effective
Huh.
skincare.
Yes.
This I will do recommend even starting with once a month. You can do once a week even, but even if you just do once a month, you'll notice a difference.
Sure.
And I like to do it in the shower because the steam literally from the shower will, you know, open up and soften those pores. And then I like to get a generous amount and I start working it in. I do have a demo for people if they want to see it, part of my facial that I do at home. But I let that also sit on the skin and then rinse it off. And it's amazing the immediate glow that you get on your skin after.
Yes.
And, you know, we went from cleansing the skin and getting off the excess pollution, toxins, and oil and all that without stripping the good stuff, and then into the deeper at-home exfoliation of a chemical enzyme exfoliation or a mechanical scrub
Yes.
that is filled with ingredients that are gonna actually keep your skin looking healthy, unlike the apricot scrub that could have, you know, potentially adverse effects. You'll be getting the mechanical with those, but they're also filled with more just harsher ingredients, those preservatives that for your sensitive skin on your face may not be the best thing for. So is there anything else you want to add to that?
Yeah, I was going to say your point well taken, because a lot of people, and we're all guilty of this, we get in there and scrub.
Yes.
And
Yes.
you know, you don't have to scrub harder to get off dry skin. It's just simply, like you say, use an enzyme, use something that contains these fruit acids that help, or a little, like the pumpkin scrub is awesome. I've also used that in my practice. And people love it. Like, oh, I feel like this is doing something.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and these are simple steps. And I think people need to understand that you could have 2, 3, 4 simple steps that don't take that long for morning and afternoon.
Yeah. 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 You can do either or, you know, these are just options. So if you're someone who, you know, just wants a gentle cleanser that will actually clean away without getting rid of the good oil, you know, you have the suggestions we have already made. And then if you want that next step while you're at home for the dull skin to just instantly brighten it up, now you have 2 choices as well. Both are amazing. I also use the Expurtise at the spa too. It's just, I was just thinking at home right now, because you know what? People want to feel like they're doing something. And I know from experience, when I first started doing skincare for myself, like a regular routine, it didn't feel like enough to just leave it on my skin in the beginning. I needed to rub it. Like you're saying, like people feel like it has to do something. But to your point, it is so important to rub gently and lightly. You don't have to rub hard, especially because the enzymes and the acids are also, it's like a twofold. They're also doing, helping to break down the part of your skin, we call it like the skin's glue, that's holding all that dead skin together. And then you'll notice as soon as you clean it off, it's instantly brightened. So I know I can, go ahead.
I'm just going to chime in real quick. The fact that you're doing it in the shower with the heat, that helps process, you know, that helps with the process of it. So I don't necessarily need to jump in the shower with this particular enzyme. I can let it sit, like we talked about, on the face, and then just wash it off. And I use a washcloth, believe it or not, which is a nice little bit of an exfoliant. But the washcloth gets tossed into the laundry after.
Yeah. And I know you mentioned this before. I want to repeat it though. When you are, especially with the enzyme that you're leaving it on, because those are a little bit stronger, and that's what you don't really need to prep it with the steam. But using tepid water, sometimes for me, like when I use this enzyme, since my skin is a little more sensitive, I'll sometimes use cold water, because I'm like, because it gets a little burny for me. It's just the sensitivity that I have. But you don't need this to be hot. I mean, you can use hot towels for masks and other things, which we'll talk about in a later episode. But for this purpose, tepid water, cool water, it's going to feel really refreshing. So just to kind of summarize here, you've cleansed your skin. You know, now you've exfoliated some of those surface layers that were keeping it dull. I want to talk briefly about when you and I know when we offer our facials in spa, this step of deeper exfoliation, we use microdermabrasion. So I know we use the same machine actually, because I bought that from you pretty much. But the Diamond Tome, I've had that for, I think it's been about 8 years now that I've been using that one. I love it. That's typically, you know, when I'm in the spa, that's what I use after I do the enzyme treatment. I will go ahead and use the microderm. Or at home, can't use that, but just to briefly talk a little bit about the benefits of that for those who've never received it, or, you know, are curious about what to look forward to when they can come back and get a facial for a deeper layer. How would you explain the benefits of microderm and the one that we use?
Yeah, so a plug-in for the Diamond Tome. It's an awesome machine. It's crystal free. They are diamond wands. So it helps to get around the mouth region, the eye region, without any concern of any crystal, because there is none. I position the microdermabrasion in this way. So for facial, I'm using product to get off that dry, dead skin, like you and I discussed with the enzymes. But with the microderm, it is more of a mechanical, using a tool to get off that dry, dead skin. Goes a little deeper because you're using suction on the face. You're also ablating the skin. So a person could walk away being a little pink, but they're quite happy because their skin feels like they've lost 10 pounds of dirt,
Yeah.
as they describe it. So it's a really a wonderful way to get rid of that dry, dead skin for some. Now, people with broken capillaries, rosacea, acne, these are folks that we have to stay away from, unfortunately, with this machine, just for your own safety, as you know. But boy, the benefit of it for other skin types is amazing.
Yeah, and I will say, because it's been, like I said, a good challenge. I have a lot of clients who have had that cystic acne, and there are definitely a lot of things that we can do as estheticians to assist you through that skin recovery process. And I know for me, I usually have, if someone isn't ready for the microderm in the beginning, I'll get them on a treatment plan. Sometimes it's 6 months to a year, where we are, figuring that out along the way with all the products that I have that are right for your skin. And then towards the end of their treatment, that's when I start them on the microderm to even out some of that acne scarring that was happening after the cystic acne heals. And then going into, the skin texture treatments like the microneedling. Again, that's a future episode that I'm going to be discussing what I do for that. But to bring it back to what we do at home and then in the spa now, I also do it in that process as well, where I do the cleansing and then I use the enzymatic with the steam and spa, and then the mechanical in spa is a microderm for me. At home, it's the pumpkin scrub. But I also love it too, and it's like, the way I describe it to people is the machine sounds loud, but it's almost like this sounds really aggressive, but this is the best way I could describe it. It's like a vacuuming and a sanding, because it's a wand with the diamond tips that are like encrusted in there, crystal free. And there's different, like, how when you are, maybe you have, maybe you haven't, but you use sandpaper to sand things down. It's different. It's almost like different, what's the there's numbers on them. It's leaving my head, but
there's a fine, medium,
the grits. It's the grits. Yeah, it's the different grits of, like, think of like sandpaper. You have your more rough grit, and then you have the fine grit. So even if you have sensitive skin, the microderm, the diamond tone one, is amazing because you can adjust the vacuum strength. So those diamond tip wands are attached to a hose, and you can adjust the suction. So that's why I say it's like the diamond tip are like, it's like sanding, down your skin very lightly to give the smooth texture. And then at the same time, it's, cleansing out the pores by sucking it, like the suction. So the two together can be done very gently. Honestly, most people fall asleep when I do this for them because it's like somewhere midway through. And it's like, it's a cooling sensation. And it feels very clean. It feels, like you said, a lot of your clients express, I've heard that too, you just feel so much cleaner afterwards.
I kind of liken it to a kitty cat licking your face, if you've ever
right, because they have that sandpaper tongue.
Yeah, there you go.
Right. So there are a lot of benefits to that. Obviously, there's a right time to receive that kind of deeper exfoliation, and because it's a mechanical exfoliation, it is a great way to get off more layers of that skin to help with your body's natural cycle of shedding that dead skin, helping it along, especially into your 30s, 40s, and so on. So now that we've prepped the skin, I know that we both we use treatment serums, right? So I know we're going to dive in deeper into treatment serums, but what's one of the first ones that comes to your mind that you really love, or ingredient wise, after exfoliating the skin on that level?
Well, as I mentioned before, I think I'm more into the science of things. So I met Dr. McGuire, who is Neogenesis. He's a chemist out in California, really knowledgeable man. So it's stem cell research. So I happen to use, and you can't really see it too well, the
The
recovery.
neogenesis.
Yeah, neogenesis recovery. So I tend to use that after a microdermabrasion so that people can get the full effect of understanding how once you've taken off that dry, dead layer, your skin is really open for the next product. So it could be, I know you have a product that you enjoy, and there's others that I do, but I said my go-to now is the stem cell. I use it every day. I use it twice a day, and I love it. And one of my clients said, well, how do I know it works? I said, well, stop using it for a couple months and see. So interesting enough, she was away for about 2-3 weeks. She goes, I will never not use it again. I could see the difference right away. So for me, and now in stem cells, so that people understand, this is the human fibroblast. So this is actual skin that was taken scientifically and made into a product. And what better way, because our body recognizes the human skin, the human cells. So as opposed to, made up in the world of chemistry, if you will.
Or plant-based. Yeah. And I definitely want to, have that deeper discussion on the ingredients of the stem cells and the peptides, because those are things that naturally occur in our body and our skin. And just very briefly, there are a lot of, I love plant-based and botanical for cleansers, for masks, for moisturizers, if you will. When it comes to treating deeper conditions like the deeper wrinkling, the hyperpigmentation, any of those collagen, slowing down production issues that we experience as we age, we want the active ingredients like the stem cells and the peptides. So again, in a later episode, Ruth and I are going to be diving in deeper into, the neogenesis. I use some of the treatment peptides from another line from California as well called Clinical Resolution Lab. Just knowing what to use is super beneficial and why. But very briefly, there are a lot of plant-based peptides. The reason why I played around with it, and you can play too, maybe, you let me know if you found one that actually works, but plants don't have wrinkles and plants don't have acne. So the peptides that come from plants are not typically as effective as the actual peptides that help create collagen protein that's in your skin, right? So that just very likely can be the reason why, you haven't found the right one yet. So it's just a matter of understanding what is actually happening in your skin with your skin's healing process and what to use to activate that natural production after doing a microderm, or like I do, a microneedling, when you're prepping the skin and activating your skin's natural repair mechanism. So we're definitely going to dive in deep into that. But I'm glad that you brought that up, because neogenesis is an awesome line. So just a preview, we'll be talking about some of the hyaluronic acid serums that we find really beneficial, vitamin C, the process and all of that, liposomal technology and all of that, and why that's important. But so to wrap up for at-home care, is there anything else that you would love to express in guidance and tip-wise to your clients listening, or new people who, are tuning in?
Well, and that it is very simple. People look for simple steps. I was speaking to a woman who's in her 40s just the other day. Simply done. Cleanse, use an enzymatic, maybe once every other week, whatever, once a week, once every other week. And then of course a moisturizer, which again, we can get into all of that. And then of course an eye serum, which is also another topic.
So there's so many good things. Just to get started though, so people don't get overwhelmed.
Absolutely.
Cleanse, or even just go right into the enzyme step, if you want to go into the enzyme. And then if you have your favorite moisturizer right now, you can use that for the time being, and then check back in to see the kinds of moisturizers that we recommend after doing the mechanical, chemical exfoliations and the deeper treatments of your skin. So to find Ruth, like I mentioned earlier, you're doing the free consultations, right? And they can call you? Okay.
Absolutely. Perfect. Feel free to. Yep.
And order any of the products, or if you have questions about the products that you see, you can call Ruth, you can call myself, and then it's really awesome time right now, even though we're at home and not able to practice the way we once were, but there are a lot of provisions being made, so you can benefit from drop shipping and having these products just delivered straight to your house.
Absolutely.
Yeah, give us a call. So thank you so much for your time, Ruth. I
Oh,
look
thank
forward to
you.
our next.
This has been amazing. Thank you so much, Alina.
You're welcome. Take care.
All right. You too.